Greetings, all you beautiful beings of the human race. Welcome to League Unlock. Eric and Mark with you guys today, and rumors just keep coming. Every day, you wake up, you read new news articles or coverage from Invin or Phomos or any of these Korean news outlets talking about rumors, because this is really the first time since 2015 where almost all the top LCK squads are making moves heading into the season. And this time, it sounds like they're staying in Korea. They're not all going to China this time.
Yeah, it seems to be that right now the max exodus is not happening the way that it has happened in the past. You've seen the disappointment this year from the LCK squads at Worlds, and we're going to see a lot of these contracts coming up at the exact same time. And oh boy, it creates a lot of chances for roster shuffles here, and we're seeing it already start over in the LCK, and it's getting real spicy.
The latest rumor comes from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Loco Doco. He was on one of his many talk shows with Thorin, and he was teasing the entire 2-hour episode about this big leak that he has about SK Telecom. And finally, he went on to reveal that he's saying it's 99% done, basically, that Teddy is coming in as an AD carry for SKT in 2019. We kind of joked about this throughout the entire split when he was stuck in ELO hell on Jin Air and couldn't get out of there, that he would be joining them going forward. But is this a solution for SKT? Listen, Teddy is great, and we haven't seen him play for so long, you forget how great he is.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of those situations I want to have NA fans be a little bit reminded here of Doublelift and Zven. It's just a bit of a different situation here because, of course, Bang comes in incredibly accomplished. A world champion, has done so much for SKT, and especially again last year when there were the struggles for SKT. He was not the member that wasn't pulling his own weight. He was pulling that entire bot lane to the finish line sometimes. Absolutely not a problem last year. Certainly still a top level performer. But when you bring up the name Teddy here, the player coming in exchange, this is someone we've been hyped about over the last year. Anytime you watched Jin Air, it was all about Teddy. You wanted to watch Teddy just pop off, get huge CS numbers, and find a way to carry Jin Air to victory, and it just didn't happen often enough because of the other members on the team. It will be exciting to see him on SKT and how it can work if this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, obviously the tragedy of 2018 was the meta where he wasn't able to play AD carries as much in that bottom lane. But yeah, he was the only reason to watch Jin Air games for the entire year, really. And obviously, the main difference that you're going to get with Teddy compared to Bang is he is so much more aggressive, not just in team fights with those aggressive flashes, but even in the laning phase, he's playing to win that lane. He's not playing to go even or, try and not lose those lanes. He wants to win. He wants to stomp and get ahead and carry the game. We saw him do it on a bunch of different champions. Their signature win against Griffin was him popping off on that Jin. He was disgusting on that pick. Doesn't really matter what he was picking, even if it wasn't a typical late game hyper carry. He's carrying the late game.
Yeah, and if you want a quick ticket into the Mark Horner Boys Club here, Teddy getting all this
CS. It's an exclusive club, by the way.
Hey, you joining North Scaren here, some pretty talented players. But I gotta say, Teddy breaking out that Jin looks pretty darn good. Welcome into the club, Teddy. And hey, joining SKT, gonna be welcomed in by Faker. That's a little bit better than be welcomed in to the Mark Horner Boys Club, I think.
So obviously we don't know the full details here. Maybe SKT says, you know what, we're actually going to keep Bang and have both of you guys playing. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, and I don't think Bang would be very happy with that. If this does end up coming true, then it is a bit of a sad time because, yes, the face of SKT as a whole is Faker, but seeing Bang lead the squad too would be a little bit sad because he's been associated with all these world championships.
Yeah, and I think it's sad because, again, I want to bring up that reference to the Doublelift Zven type of situation here. We're replacing Bang, who is the Doublelift in this situation. You've had success with him, obviously at a different level here, but is a fan favorite. And then you're bringing in someone like Teddy, who is seen as a good, strong player, but it's not exactly a clear upgrade, seen as more of a side grade type of situation here. And that is where I think you're going to have some difficulties with the SKT fan base selling this type of move. Obviously, a lot of them are still quite emotionally attached with having Bang be that carrier in the bot lane. And so to replace him with someone from the likes of a team like a Jin Air, where people aren't exactly paying attention maybe all of the time, is certainly going to be quite a little bit of a change, a shock up there. But I think that Teddy absolutely has the skills to step into that role and find success for SKT in the bot lane.
At times throughout 2018, he looked like the best AD carry in the LCK. And when you're thinking of the other names that are in that league, that's a pretty darn impressive feat, especially considering he was on a team that was well out of the playoff hunt very early on in the summer split. But yeah, it's harsh to judge because his team was so bad. But Teddy, you've seen the talent level that he could reach, and it is otherworldly to get there.
And then to talk about Teddy here specifically, the hype, of course, was at its peak during the spring split. This past year was when we saw him absolutely smash lane, pick up those massive CS leads, and find ways to pick up those wins for Jin Air that they didn't actually really seem to deserve before Teddy found a way to exert himself onto the map there. And then I think when you're talking about what happened in summer, maybe why you haven't heard of Teddy as much into this later part of this year has been probably the emergence of someone like Viper on Griffins, a new young ADC as well, popping off there. But do not forget about Teddy. There's a reason we were talking about him so much during the spring and wanting to see something, making these jokes about SKT Teddy, and oh boy, looks like we might be actually getting the real deal thing here.
It'll be interesting to see who SKT decides to put with him in the support role, because it still sounds like Mata is not coming to SKT, although Mata Teddy would be a pretty exciting bottom lane. I'm expecting them to keep at least one of Effort or Wolf, but it sounds like the contract negotiations with Peanut are moving a lot quicker than maybe we would have thought. It sounds like they're both parties, that is Kingzone's Peanut and SKT, have been talking about, potentially getting together in 2019. We heard that rumor, but it sounds like it's happening.
Yeah, and if you like to watch exciting play from the jungle, you gotta be a fan of my boy Peanut here, because this is absolutely the type of jungler that if you've watched SKT for the last year, and oh boy, it's been pretty painful at times, this is the guy that you want back in the jungle for him, back working with Faker. Absolutely has to be Peanut, and to hear that these contract negotiations are moving forward even more so makes me very happy to think about, because that level of control, that type of pathing, and that aggression from the jungle that you can get from someone like Peanut working with Faker and the rest of the SKT coaching staff, look out LCK, SKT are back in a big way.
Unless the Peanut from the downsides that we saw in 2018 show up, or 2017.
Ignore those ones.
Then SKT probably not fully back.
Just watch MSI 2017 again, please. Just watch that.
I just watched that Gigabyte Marines game on repeat with the 15 kill Lee Sin. A couple other guys who were throwing their hats in the ring for not free agency, but this awesome tweet where they say, I'm still contracted, but I'm listening to offers from other teams. You got Flame from FlyQuest, who's said that tweet, I expect FlyQuest will do their very best to sign him, because him and Wild Turtle are the faces of that franchise. And Frozen from Fenerbahce in the Turkish league, he's looking for a new squad, and he wants to play outside of the TCL. He wants to leave Turkey, Mark.
That's pretty exciting for me, because I think Frozen is absolutely a player that can find success in whatever international league he wants to be joining into, leaving the Turkish league.
Come on down to NA. They'll throw money at you.
Absolutely. There certainly will be spots here. And hey, even now we can say, come on over to EU, get that franchising money there. Certainly going to be a lot of interesting options for the likes of someone like Frozen with the talent that we know he has.
And yeah, he dominated enough in Turkey that I think he's warranted a spot on a bigger region.